I'm back at the daycare where I need to Dutch a door, bust up some concrete, and replace an exterior faucet. Not necessarily in that order, and not necessarily all today. Buckle up for safety as I give you a day in the life of online. No, not online. I'm actually there. Facilities maintenance. So, the staff here tried to dig out some concrete. Apparently, these industrious gals who work at the daycare here got themselves a jackhammer and tried to remove this on their own. And they weren't successful, so this is what we've got. Maybe just dig down around it a bit, cut it off, and then bury it, and call it done. Okay, so there's some broken up concrete underneath this big plastic bin. So it looks like they got most of it, although there is a big chunk right here where there was a post, and it goes down fairly deep.
The employees at the daycare here have done a good job of keeping the kids out of this area, but they are concerned with daycare licensing, and that the licensing inspectors can be very, very strict about anything safety related. And since playing in busted up concrete isn't considered safe these days for young children, the staff at the daycare have asked me to come and take care of it, so I have added it to my list of things to do here.
I think maybe I should start with this because this is a need more than a want, and the Dutch door is a want. That being said, I'm going to have to go back and get a few things. I'm going to have to get a sledgehammer. I'm going to have to get a wheelbarrow. I'll get working on this first. But before I do, let's go inside and take a look at that Dutch door and see what we need to do.
You can do half a grapefruit granola by the pound, or you can do the Dutch. There's nothing yummier around. Do the Dutch.
They already have one door over here that has been Dutchified, and they would like to do the same for the other. Okay, so I'm already seeing something here that may make my job easier. If they want the other door Dutch doored the same as this one has been done, they've completely lost the top side of the door. I was thinking that I would have to install a fourth hinge here and keep both top and bottom sections. But if they just want what's been done here, I can get this done today. All right, so this is actually coming up easier than I thought it would. I haven't even had to touch the hammer yet. A little bit of digging around this area here, and I was able to just grab that post with my hands and pull that straight out of here. I didn't capture any of that on video because I just started exploring the end of that thing with my shovel, and it all started coming up fairly easily, so I didn't even stop to think to turn on my camera. So from here back to there, it's just a matter of cleaning up some of this concrete that they left behind. And I'll take the sledgehammer to here and try and break this up a little bit around this post so I can cut that down further. Yeah, I'll grab my wheelbarrow and I'll just get rid of this concrete.
And Hulk. Smash.
Being able to swing a sledgehammer and hit what you're aiming at does take a little bit of practice, and what you are seeing here are the years that I worked on the railroad, pounding in spikes, paying off. On to the next project.
Okay, with the concrete done, I'm going to take a look at this hose bib. This exterior faucet leaks. It no longer has a handle. The vacuum breaker is broken. It's a hurting unit, which is why I want to replace it. I do have a replacement. I made an estimate as to the wall thickness. I think what I have will work. And it's a pretty straightforward replacement, so I will probably get this done today, regardless of the other projects that I'm taking on here. I am going to have to go back and get some other tools and then try and get both arms in behind the washing machine and dryer in order to undo this from the fitting inside. And I say undo it from the fitting because if you're not familiar with what they look like, this threaded portion just threads into that fitting.
Man, watching this while I'm editing is just painful. Because the hot water tank and the washing machine were so close together, I could not get my shoulders through the gap to get my arms back there to work on this. I finally had to resort to laying down and trying to worm my way in sideways, which was just painful. And something else that is going to give me a lot of grief in a few minutes that I wasn't able to see from this angle on the floor is this offset between the bottom fitting and the top elbow. If I could just reach the end of the pipe wrench.
Talk about no leverage. Oh, it's hard enough just to lift the pipe wrench up to where I need it. Okay. That should come out the other side now. Wow.
At this point, you think I would have clued in that it's not actually backing out any further. And definitely by this point I should have known something wasn't working right. Now, normally when you install a wall hydrant like this, you drill your hole through the siding and then the plywood underneath that and through perhaps a piece of backer board and your drywall. What I didn't know at the time that I was trying to remove this and why it was putting up such a fight is that in addition to all these layers, they also clamped it inside the wall. For no reason.
So as you can see, I'm having difficulty pulling the actual fixture out of the wall itself. This has got to come out, and what am I running into in the wall right there? I hate it.
I just hate it.
When contractors build things without any thought to further servicing, because these things fail, they don't last forever. So at some point in time, it needs to be changed. That time is now, and they've made it so it doesn't come back out the hole. I am going to have to force this out and hopefully don't do too much damage along the way.
More often than not in maintenance work, you don't really know what you're going to get into until you're actually into it. But in retrospect, I think the easiest thing for me with this job would have been to bring a hand truck in, move the washer and dryer out of the way, and literally cut a hole in the wall so I could access the inside of the wall to do this repair. You'll see what I mean.
I didn't know how thick this wall was, and so I bought this one, which is an 8-inch valve. I might have to return it because this is a 10-inch. In fact, yes, I will have to return it.
What I'm thinking at this point is that it'll be much easier to wrap Teflon tape around the threads if I'm not trying to reach my arms in between the washing machine and the hot water tank. What I'm not thinking about is that sticking this thing through the hole in the wall is going to completely mess up the Teflon tape that I just wrapped around the threads.
Now, I was afraid of this. This might not want to go in. It did not come out easy. I'm gonna have to rewrap that once I get this on the inside. Actually, what I could do is take the valve apart by unthreading this. I don't want to put any pressure against this, but if I take this apart, that gives me a flat surface against this cast portion that I could put a block against here, and I could probably hammer this through the wall.
The way I'm removing this, you'd think I was defusing a bomb or something.
I thought I'd be using this bad boy twice in one day.
So in addition to our offset problem at this 90 heading down to the fitting, we also have an alignment problem with where the fixture is coming through the wall. We've got an issue here. I didn't realize when things were previously connected how much tension there was on this piping, because what you're looking at is the original installation. And I'm baffled as to why this is the case, because the new faucet went in through the same hole that the other one came out of. Or did it?
It's funny, it's a straight line just like the other one. But you see the offset? Maybe it was pushed up that much before and I just didn't realize it. It started when there's not much of an offset, might be difficult. Because I can't really push against it too well. So it just wants to push it right back out the hole, and I can't see anything because it's way out of focus with these glasses on. So they gotta come off, and I need to set them down somewhere where I'm not gonna roll on them or sit on them. This doesn't fit together well. I need to shorten this.
You ever have one of those disconnect moments where when you're looking at something like this, you're going, man, this is really off. But at the same time, because the old part is exactly the same size as the new part you're replacing it with, you should be able to get it to work if you just persist long enough.
The problem is, it's the offset that's wrong, you know? Shortening it up here would actually benefit everybody because that would bring this in closer and then put it into alignment with this.
Because there's no way I'm going to get this together without putting the fitting in first and then reconnecting the PEX pipe, I'm cutting the PEX shorter at the risk of it being too short.
Yeah, it should be tight enough, but look at that offset. So I replaced the wall hydrant, as it is called, with one of the same length. It's a 10-inch one. It clears the inner wall. That's perfect. That's what was originally here. So why they originally built this with such an offset, I do not know. But we will see if I can cheat this over. This is so bad. I just don't like this at all. I don't think this has to be shortened. Which just means I've created more work for myself because this is now shorter than I would like it to be.
I'm going to have to shut the water off at the main so I can work on both sides of this exterior faucet shut off and correct this issue.
Then I can shorten this to bring these into alignment. And I have to put a new piece here to extend that to the original length. Well, what this tells me is I'm not going to have enough time to do all 3 projects today. Because this one that I thought was going to be the fastest project is taking the longest. What a pain.
I'm going to go back outside and remove that little white nylon spacer.
So this is what I'm talking about here, that little white nylon piece. It's not much, but it might be all I need.
Okay, here's the thing. While I was able to move this in, which did help this offset a little bit, I'm not able to push this on any further. This should be fully seated. However, I am going to try crimping this. Because at this point, the way I figure, the worst thing that can happen is that it'll leak. I am capturing 1 or 2 of the rings on the actual fitting itself. So I'm going to try and crimp this and then very gently open up the water. Yes. And now the moment of truth. For all I know, it might spray all over the place. And we can all laugh together if it does. I thought the bib was closed outside, so it didn't leak from here. That's good. I'm gonna go close things up outside and then try again. Okay, I've closed the bib on the outside. Let's try again. We're on. We are fully open. We are pressurized. We are not leaking. Let's go take a look outside one more time.
You can't tell me that I have a defective hose bib. After all that. This should not be running out of this little hole right there. Not only that, it drips.